friends, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Tonight we are going to take a run at the Brayflox's Longstop dungeon. So we are all queued up as a summoner, and it might take a while for us to actually get into this dungeon. So I'm going to go ahead and join the queue right now. And if we get to the point where the wait is just too long, I will cut and we'll go right back into the game. Now, while we are waiting for this, I do want to thank those of you who have been tuning in regularly. I really appreciate that. For those of you who have liked and subscribed, you guys absolutely rock. For those of you leaving me comments and offering me some great help, I am eternally grateful. You guys absolutely rock. And if you haven't done so, you're welcome to. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you have to say. What am I doing great? What am I doing not so great? Where do I absolutely suck at this game? As long as you're polite about it, I'd like to hear about it, because I know that there are issues. I am new to the game. I'm still trying to figure out the capabilities of this character, as well as the mechanics of many elements of the game, as well as mechanics in the dungeon. So, that being said, I will love to hear what you have to say. Okay, so looking at the average wait time of 5 minutes, that's actually pretty darn good for DPS. So we're going to hang tight here and hopefully get into this dungeon relatively quick. Last time the queue time read as like 12 minutes and we were in less than 5. So this could actually be a very short queue time for the dungeon. And going back to Duty Finder here, looking at the level of the dungeon, this is at level 32, and I just want to double check here, make sure. Yeah, I can't use my Ruin 2 spell yet, because that's a level 38 spell. So making sure that I have the correct spells in the right spell slots is really, really important for dungeons like this. I'm behind. I've been working on my MSQ. I have completely dropped my search for all of the side quests. I'm only doing the MSQ, and I'm only doing the blue, side quests, but the ones that are really important. And I'm still kind of over leveling all of the dungeons and the whatnot so far. I'm at level 40. And I'm happy to be there. I know that I've got 10 levels left before I get into the first expansion. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to seeing where the story goes. I just killed Titan, and it was an ugly fight. I did that on my live stream. It did not go well, but ultimately we were victorious. Only to find, spoiler alert here, some bad stuff happened. If you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't know the game that well and have not gotten to that point yet, I'm not going to spoil it. Just know that, yeah, it was kind of rough. So I'm at that point in the game where I've had to deal with the aftermath of that event. If you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. And you also know where I am right now because of that. And so I logged out as soon as my stream was done last night. I have not gone anywhere, but I am looking forward to getting into the Brayflox's Longstop dungeon. And looking at the queue time, it hasn't changed, still less than 5 minutes, and we're coming up on 4 minutes. So I'm going to run out here a little ways, take a look at our surroundings. Just looking at the beauty and the joy of life. Might as well, let's have a Bob Ross moment. Let's enjoy just how well put together this game truly is. They really have done a good job with this game. And, thinking that this game came out in 2010, this is 11 years old. It's held up remarkably well. And I've not played the expansions yet. I can only imagine that the expansions build on the quality and it just gets better from there. Okay, well, at this point, it's looking like our wait time may not actually be less than 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it at this point, and then we'll resume as soon as I get accepted into the dungeon. I'll talk to you soon. Don't go away. This is going to be amazing, I promise you. All right, talk to you soon. All right, looks like we are in. Taking part in a little bit of a fight there. Wasn't going well. So, good thing to get out. All right. So here we are in Brayflox's Longstop. And Brayflox's Longstop. All right. There we go. Looking forward to a smooth run here. Looks like we have Max as our tank. I want to make sure that we are all together here and ready to go. So what I found is I'm usually pretty good to go if I drop a dot, actually both of my dots on the all of the mobs. I've found that the tanks have got some pretty good abilities in holding aggro. So that allows me to make sure that my damage is relatively consistent. I'm contributing across the board. And yeah, so far nobody's died, so hey, not bad, right? And you can see that I believe it's the tank has numbered that target there, number 1, as the first one to be killed, and mission accomplished. All right, looks like we're missing the key. I hesitate to go after the Gully Galago across the little stream there because the tank has aggro, but not due to any aggro ability. I think it's just because he's closest. So I'm not going to drop a dot until, there we go, until that's the last thing I do. Just to make sure I don't steal aggro. I wasn't sure if he would have an ability that would transcend that distance. So looking at the group here, it looks like Roxy Sky is a veteran. The rest of us are all sprouts, which will make for an interesting run usually. But even having a veteran does not guarantee success. I was in a group taking down Titan, and we were successful, but only after a complete wipe. And most of that was due to the fact that none of us, except for the one veteran, knew what was supposed to happen. And yeah, there were some elements to that fight that I still have to figure out. I was doing something wrong as far as avoiding that AoE attack that he's got. Even though I was successful in the end, I still ended up getting my butt kicked. So do need to do some research on that. But so far I've found, this is my second time running this dungeon, and it's a pretty straightforward fight all the way through, making sure that you find a way to pick up those ads and stay within range of the tank so that he can pick those ads up again. I apologize for my male pronoun there, but I think it's a male that we have this time. It is an important part, aggro management, and if you're not good at it, yeah, get good. There we go, successful fight, and relatively pain-free. That was good. And we got the Longstop bow. I could use it on my archer, of course, but I'm going to greed. If you watch my videos, you know that that's what I do. I greed all of the drops. I don't take the time to go over them painstakingly to see what's going to be an upgrade and what will not be an upgrade, because it takes a while. I trust that the RNG gods are going to be good to me, and so far they have. My gear has been adequate. So that's good. I got that going for me. Yeah, I haven't been in a situation where I have felt under-geared. And I know that time is likely coming. I honestly don't know. I'd like to think that I'd be able to take on all content even with mediocre gear, and that might actually be the case. That's my lack of overall knowledge of the game kind of showing through there. I'm learning the game as I go. The first time I ran through this dungeon was my first introduction to this dungeon. I had no idea what to expect. So this being my second time, I'm a little bit more prepared, but it's pretty straightforward. There wasn't a whole lot of preparation really necessary, just knowing that we've got a tank that's leading the way. It's good to have a tank who knows where they're going, because they're the first ones into fights, and just follow along and blow stuff up. And that's the joy of being a DPS. I think that's one of the reasons why DPS is such a popular choice. There's a lot less responsibility here. I'm just like tab kill, tab kill, tab kill. Yes, I have to make sure that it's a legit target, not something from across the room that hasn't been aggroed yet. But really, it's a lot simpler than being the tank, being the healer. That will change. I know that it does get more difficult knowing which ads to get and when, or what the mechanics are for a specific dungeon. Those are coming. And I've come across that a couple of times. Hawk Manor was one of those possibilities, knowing that I need to go in there and I need to deactivate those lamps. But I ended up in a couple of dungeons where they just ignored that mechanic and just powered down the boss. They both work. I was in dungeons with both, and yeah, we won both times with no deaths. So I think that as we get older, the mechanics become definitely get higher in level. The mechanics become much more important. How are we doing on loots? Alright, I've already got that one, so I can pass on that. Ideally, people are paying attention to the loot so that they can greed, need, or pass. Alright. So here we are on boss number 3, mini boss number 3. accessing the Mudstop water gush. One of the things I do enjoy about this game is the dialogue options that they have for the goblins, I guess they are. Gotta keep Brayflox alive here, so we're gonna do some DPS. Allow the tank to pick up the aggro, maybe. Does he want it? I guess I'll be alright. Hey, looks like I won the bow. Very nice. Alright, gonna renew my dots on this little dude and then go back to the main boss and get my dots back on there. Typically, there's so much happening in my free company chat that if there's chat happening in dungeon while we're trying to do a fight, I'm missing it all because of all of the free company chat. Maybe I need to find a way to turn all of that off while we're running a dungeon. All right, looks like I can grieve that. And everything else, yeah, all good. Always scary when your tank goes, what am I supposed to do here? Let's get some experience. All right. We're going to be taking on everything. The surf eft. Make sure you know what you're doing, otherwise you will be effed. Oops, took aggro a little bit too soon on that one. My bad. But a good tank is really good about picking up aggro on mistakes like that. So, good job, Max. You rock. I do wonder how many times somebody I've grouped with has come back and seen one of my videos going, "Oh, dude, that was me." Probably never, ever, ever, but you know, it would be kind of cool. So I don't know if you folks are paying attention to all of the nonsense that's happening right now with Blizzard. And while I certainly don't want to just pile on, I do want to say, however, that I am so happy to have gotten away when I did. If you haven't seen my breakup letter, it kind of takes on new meaning now that there is more information released as to what's been happening with the Blizzard Activision debacle. And yeah, a lot of the a lot of people are equating their relationship with World of Warcraft as a troubled, um, relationship, and how true it has become. At first people are like, yeah, yeah, yes. Everyone's comparing it to like a bad girlfriend, whatever. No, this is like a bad boyfriend. This is like that abusive person in your life, whether it be a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, parent, um, and the abuse didn't take the same form for us as many of the female employees, but we still recognize the, the, gosh, I don't even know the correct term here, but the misogyny, the sense of, we're going to follow along and not say anything because we feel lucky to be here doing what we're doing. Yeah, not anymore. No, sorry. World of Warcraft, you're dead to me. I've uninstalled, and I've never done that. I've quit playing for periods of time just because I was worn out. I burned out on it, whatever, or just, became a parent or a new teacher or whatever. I had to take breaks just to be able to live my life. But I never uninstalled it. I never, completely deleted my account. I have now, for the first time I was a beta tester, so we're talking 16, 17, 18 years. It's been for freaking ever. And that's over now. That relationship is non-existent for me, other than the long-term effects. It has made me wiser, if nothing else. I've learned that video games can be incredibly powerful as far as dealing with your mental health. I do another video on why I video games, why I play video games, and it really is about escapism. It's about doing what we need to do at any given moment to survive. And that sounds really melodramatic, but if you think about, especially youth, all right, they're the ones who catch all the crap for playing video games, right? This is like the video game generation. And I think that so much of their escapism has been out of need, not out of just purely trying to avoid life. There's a lot of things in life that they have needed to avoid over the last 20 plus years. It's been pretty gruesome. Just looking at my own, between work and my health, I've had to rely on video games as a mental health diversion a lot. We've had in our school district horrible experiences with our administration, and seems like everyone in the world recognized that, except for the people who could actually affect change for us. And I remember just coming home every day just feeling defeated, knowing that I had a boss who was inept in so many ways, and knowing that I've spoken to the school board about this guy, and nothing's changed, absolutely nothing, and feeling helpless. And so I get why so many, especially women in the business of video games, it's a male-dominated profession, and to feel like you have these horrible experiences and nobody is taking it seriously. Man, I feel ya. I really do. So I told you I wasn't going to say much about it, and I did anyway, so I apologize. But that's where I stand on the whole Blizzard Activision thing. They knew. Bottom line. They knew and they did nothing about it. So not a whole lot of sympathy on my part for that company and the fact that they've lost their shirts since so many of us old-timers have defected. And yeah, there are a lot of videos out there, 14, 15, 16 plus year veterans just saying, no, I'm done. Adios. I'm gonna go play. A lot of us have gone to Final Fantasy XIV Online, but so many others, just left, found something else to do entirely. Because there are some amazing games out there, guys. Amazing games. And Final Fantasy XIV Online, definitely, boom, right at the top for me right now. I'm just enjoying the hell out of it. But, I left World of Warcraft Classic to play Valheim. And if you've never had a chance to play that game, dude, check it out. It is such a cool experience. If you're into that type of survival experience, it's definitely a worthwhile. And it's, $20. It's early access, but it's early access that is as good, if not better, than so many other games out there. There's not a whole lot of story. It's not like Final Fantasy in any way when it comes to story, but graphically and mechanically there are some really cool elements to that game, and I logged 600 plus hours. I should be proud of that, I know, but I logged 600 plus hours onto Valheim because it's that good. And I got into the modding a little bit. Didn't create the mods, but I used the mods, and there are some really cool mods out there. I strongly encourage you, if you're going to try the game, go for it. Stick with the core game, but eventually you'll want to do some mods, and there's some really good ones, because magic items aren't really a part of the game at its core. So there's a mod that allows you to do that, and it definitely adds a whole nother layer to a game that was already amazing. So yeah, check it out. If you're just looking for something that is not story-based, is not requiring you to pay attention to what's happening as far as relationships between characters and things like that, if you just want to go kill stuff, definitely check out Valheim. $20, and it's early access, which means it's only going to get better. Very, very enjoyable game. All right, so we're down to the last little bit of trash fighting here until we get to the boss for realsies, and that is Ayatar, or Ayatar, and we'll make it a successful run. This has been a good group. They're efficient, they're quick, they're on task. No one's wandering off doing stupid things. I like it. Because, we've all been part of that, right? You're familiar probably with Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins! Yeah, I haven't seen that in this game, thankfully. But, yeah. All good. So at some point during that last little bit, not the last fight, but before that, I dinged, which means I'm 41 now. I feel like I should be level 10. Honestly, there are so many. I'm like, okay, what does this button do? All right, and that spell, how does that spell? Ooh, these spells work together? What does that mean? Yeah. But, you know, so far it's gone relatively well. All right, there's the boss. And I turned off my repeat cinematics because it's not necessary for me, and most of you have experience with this dungeon, or you just want to see what the mechanics of the dungeon are. You don't care about the cinematics. So yeah, I've got those turned off. So here comes the poison. Yeah, it's important that we be aware of where the poison pools are and avoid them. You think that would be kind of an obvious thing, but you know. But look at that. I mean, he's already down, what, 10% plus? Not bad. And he hasn't started any of his special attacks yet. There's one. Just a matter of keeping my dots up and spamming the DPS. And I did do a video, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, condemning the game for, you know, hating DPS, for how long the queue lines were. Since that point, things have gotten better as far as my queue times are concerned. Tonight's was about 7 minutes. Not bad. That's completely doable. So I take back that video, by the way. I should go pull it down, even though I'm still getting views. So far, so good. We've got a tank who is good at avoiding that direct damage, and DPS that's done a good job of avoiding the poisons for the most part. It's not always going to be perfect, but so far so good. We're burning this guy down. So once I'm done with this dungeon, I'm going to get right back on my MSQs, and I'm going to power through until I get to a point where the dungeons are level appropriate for me. That way I won't have to have any adjustments. There we go. Okay. Player accommodations, definitely Max did a great job. Our healer was great too, but I think our tank did a great job of maintaining aggro, keeping us safe, pulling quickly. Everything about it was well done. Now it's just a matter of seeing where the loot ends up. I did win the bow, and it looks like I got the lance as well. Nice. Ooh, and I got the Longstop grimoire. Sweet. And the Battle Mage's Krakows. Well, well, well. Good night for me. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you had a good time. This was Brayflox's Longstop. And, you know, what was that? A, 25-minute run. Not bad. Not bad. These are fun, relatively straightforward dungeons, and they don't take up your entire night. With the wait to get in and the actual run, just over 30 minutes. I'm happy with that. I will take that every time. All right, folks, thank you so much. Again, this is Old Timer, and if you have not yet done so, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and it doesn't have to be all, hey, this was wonderful. I love those, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'd love to hear what your opinion is, and give me some advice. What do you think? I'll definitely interact. I promise you, I will respond. All right, folks, this is Old Timer signing off. Until next time, be good.